Yeah, what's up, Haya? Great to see you, brother. I have to get my morning writing in. Eventually, I'm gonna switch over and do some piano first thing in the morning. I think because I think that would be good. Um, as this is, I'm streaming something that is typically very personal, but gotta grind it out. You know what I mean? Grinding. That's literally what Pete said about you. Because I told him that you liked tanks, and he goes, "He's a grinder." And I went, "Hell yeah, hell yeah." So again, he'll probably more than likely want to play later. So we'll make that happen. Roberto, no, not your Obama snow. I will lull your Obama snow to sleep with my sweet songs. How about that? Facts. Shout out Pete. Hell yeah, exactly. What's up, Phone Cool? If you have hidden wealth, you're good if weird comes up that messes with your plans. Right on. Speaking of which, we can develop some hidden wealth. If you buy these picks, we've got these picks, one and only limited edition Joku picks. You can get them here today for $1, $2, $5, $1, 50 cents, 25 cents. Free! You can have it for free! Just don't forget me! I'm really good at sales, you guys. I steal at any price. There you go, my man. No, these are actually really good picks. I specifically researched and got the best, grippiest material available. Because if you're like me, you drop picks a lot. So these are very unique picks that you won't find anywhere else. I like this one because it kind of glows through all violet. My man. I'll eventually. That's my goal with the YouTube. Once I hit the uh, partnership goal, I'm able to sell products. So this is why I printed all these out, so I could, hopefully have a product that I could sell. I figured with merchandising. You know, I always get people commenting on the logo, even though it's just how I sign my name. Right? Yeah, we have a few. I think I have 5 in total. These guys, this guy, and I got a black one here somewhere. The black one's the big boy. The black one's the 2.0. That's actually the one I almost bought only exclusively that pick, and then I thought, you know what, let me get one of everyone. Roberto, no. Not the prehistoric ice age, Roberto. That would suck. Last night was a dope stream. I'm not gonna lie. We connected with some nice homies. That funny looking goose guy was dope. It always blows my mind that people actually watch my streams. Like I know we have the homies who come to hang out, and shout out to the homies. That's why I love you guys, and that's why I do this. But when people tell me and they like pop in, they're like, I've been watching you for a couple of years now. I'm like, what? Really? I guess we do have over 1,000 subscribers, so it makes sense. But we keep at this, dude. So thank you guys for being on the ride. I have an idea, Joku. Try and watch some of your older streams and see some funny clippable moments. I can stamp it in. Oh, dude, yes. Thank you. I would love that. I always try and go through these old streams, but one, it's kind of cringy for me. I need to do that. That's the thing. It's like it takes a village, dude. Noji as well. Yeah, there's that other guy, Nero. Nero was really cool. There's a lot of cool people in there. Yes, but Haya, I would really, really appreciate that. The thing is with me, there's a lot of things I need to have happen, and I definitely could use help from you guys, but I'm always too embarrassed to ask you guys, But that's actually, you read my mind. That's something that I've been like trying to do, and don't even end up doing. But yeah, that's why it's like no live streamer is anything without people helping them out with clips. So even just locating it, I used to like write it down as I was streaming. I'd be like 1 hour, 23 minute in, but it's just, how my brain works. I fucking, if it doesn't happen right there, it doesn't happen. So I have to write all this stuff down. But yes, thank you so much. That would be incredible. Hey, appreciate you. Why, thank you. I've actually noticed that speaking a lot on these streams is actually improving my voice. Like it helps out with the singing voice. No, dude, you're the best. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. Like weirdly, reading these things out loud has been very powerful in improving the speaking voice and singing voice too. You get this like weird deeper resonance than you normally have. But Hassan Umar, is that your name? Yes, Hassan Umar. Thank you so much. You're so kind. Much appreciations. Much appreciations, my sir. My kind sir. Yeah. Yeah, because what I need to do is that, again, one of my most successful videos I've ever made was the Fender ukulele bass. Is now anytime I say bass, I got to do this. Slap the bass. Fender ukulele bass review. So that was like the first time I ever actually edited out. Like it's like a 10-minute video or something. It's not even that long. But I need to start making more videos because again, it's like the three branches of YouTube with the community as the base. I've been doing research when I'm not online. Like last night, like you said, like we talked about, I was watching freaking AB and doing his thing. But most of the time, I'm like watching. I watch a lot of Mr. Beast breaking down. This is how you do YouTubes. You know, or just people who know a lot more than me on YouTube. They're like, try this. The one thing I refuse to use is AI programs, even though, again, I use Google, so technically I'm using it. And I've made videos with the AI thing, like all those Butsuego videos. So, I'm kind of putting my foot in my mouth right there. But is what it is. But a lot of people, most of these videos on YouTube now, where they say this is how you improve on YouTube. Enter your questions into this AI thing, and it'll blah 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 blah. And it'll spit out the answer, and I'm just like, nah, I'm good. But at the end of the day, it's just very simple. It's just keep putting out content and try and improve the content. That's it. Like I should probably improve my lighting or something. One thing I've realized is that people want me like up close like this. Well, I got shit on my face. But if I'm being honest, I think it's just people want to see me. I don't know what it is, but I'm starting to figure out. I'm starting to learn. Starting to slowly learn. Let's see, what was I saying? I'm just writing down my dreams I had last night, which were wild dreams. It was funny. I had the dream I had last night was. It was like, speaking of AI, it was like I was AI. I'm gonna tell you about it instead of writing it. I should probably just write it, but it was like my buddy from high school. His wife was my first girlfriend, and I remember that was like one of their biggest hurdles when they first started dating in high school, because I was very encouraging of them dating, and he was one of my best friends. But one of their biggest hurdles when they started dating apparently was the fact that me and her used to date, and I guess that was like their biggest fights or whatever. And then I remember she hung out with me one time, and this is where I distanced myself from them. When she hit me up one time, I probably shouldn't be sharing this, so I'll be vague. But she hit me up one time and was basically just like, "Hey, I'm back from college. Things aren't going great. What's up with you? And let's go on a hike or something." And so we went on a hike and it was chill. But then she like took me to this special spot, and I was like, "Wait, I remember this spot." And she was like, "Damn right you do." And I was like, "What the fuck, lady?" But her friend showed up out of the blue, so suddenly we had like a third wheel, and her friend was like trying to get with me. So it was just kind of like a non-issue anymore. But I was like, I need to get the fuck out of here because I cannot betray the homie like that. And they weren't married yet, but it was like she was looking for like a pulley cord. And I was like, "God, lady, I don't want to be associated with this type of drama." So I kind of just was like, I got to get the fuck out. And then, but yeah. So, anyways, last night I had a dream where, and they're still married. They got kids. Like they're doing great. I don't know what they're doing, but they seem good. They got beautiful kids. And so, what you would call it? Excuse me. The dream was that because he's a smart ass dude, he built me as like some cyborg to keep his wife company, because I guess she was all disgruntled in their marriage and wasn't really happy. So he's just like, fine, let me like build this guy. Let me build your ex or something as a cyborg that you can hang out with. But like he didn't think anything would happen. And then, emotions started to rise, and like we didn't have sex or anything like that, but it was definitely like heading towards that type of dream. And then at one point she goes like, "All right, before I go any further, tell me, one of I can't remember the exact term she used, but something along the lines, what's the goofiest, most embarrassing moment you've had in recent years or something?" And I was like, "Okay, I got one." And I told her, I don't even remember what it was. And then, So me and her are connecting, but then flash forward to now I'm like walking along a riverbank, and then I've never trusted a call from an ex. My married ass don't have time for that. Exactly. This is when I was much younger. This is like 19, something like that. You know, it was like when they were like, they were still their relationship was still blossoming, but she was just like, get me out of here, and I was just like, lady, this is on you. These are your decisions. I got to get out of this. But yeah, I found myself like walking by this riverbank. It was kind of like sandy with rocks everywhere. And then homie starts walking towards me and he's holding a rock. And then I was just like, what's up? He was just like, I'm going to kill you. And I was like, with that rock? And he goes, yeah. I was like, what the fuck? And he was just coming to kill me with this rock. And then the next, like, 5 minutes or so was just like us basically throwing rocks at each other. Like he tried to throw a big rock at me and I dodged it. And then I think I threw a rock at him and he dodged it. But he was like insanely strong in the dream. Like I remember he picked up like this boulder and threw it at me. And I was like, there's no way he could huck it this way. And then it just like almost hit me. I was like, what the fuck? What is this guy eating? And then, but it was like that terror of like, this guy's trying to kill me with a rock. It was a very like primal feeling dream. And yeah, it was weird as shit. But then I just remember it like right towards the end, like rather than trying to throw big rocks, I just picked up a bunch of pebbles and kind of flung it at him because we just both kept missing each other. So I was like, ah, just threw a bunch of pebbles at him. And I think I kind of hit him in the back. He was like, ah, fuck. And then it was like this school trip of like, it was like, I don't know if it was a nun or a priest, but it was like a very ghostly looking person with like all these little kids comes like walking up to the river. And I was just like, hey, people, hey. And then I kind of woke up right around that and I was like, what the shit was that? But yeah, these dreams are crazy, man. When you have this took a turn. Oh, this is a dream. Oh yeah, no, this was definitely a dream. Yeah, no, it was definitely a dream. No, last week, no, I would never do big homie like that. No, I could never. No, so yeah, no, this was, I think, again, it's like, this is what I like about the dreams, is it explores all these moments in your subconscious that you forget about, Take these pebbles! No, I was literally resorting to pocket stand. Like, I remember in my dream, what I was thinking is that, like, we were slowly covering the distance to each other, and I was like, he's strong, but I'm pretty sure I'm better at hand-to-hand than him. But also, if I try and close the distance with a takedown, he could just club me with a rock. So my plan was basically grab a bunch of sand and then just rub it into his eyes. That was pretty much what I was resorting to at that point. I was like, I just need to blind this motherfucker. Pocket sand, But yeah. Anyways, that's the scary, harsh reality of fighting. Is if you close the distance with someone can just start thumbing you in the eye. That's why most of the illegal techniques are very effective. But anyways, not to get into that because that's kind of gross. But yeah, no, I have very violent dreams. It's never like, I don't know. It's always weird. It's always like I'm being attacked, and then I'm able to defend myself. Though it's very weird. Yeah, I don't know. Laid out the whole game plan in your dream. No, dude, no, it's weird, dude. It's weird. I like almost always dream about fighting, but I almost like in my dreams, I remember all the techniques I've learned, and it always resorts to me grappling. Like I very rarely want to hurt people, but I'm always able to neutralize the threat. And I mean, it's a good thing. I'd rather that than be like, oh, people always talk about being scared in their dreams. Like the only time I ever kind of have that is like, I remember I've had like nightmares where it's like a car full of people will be like chasing after me. And I'm just like, oh, fuck, if they catch me, I'm fucked. It's kind of like that. But other than that, usually what happens is I'll just be like in side mount on someone, just be like, bro, stop fuck, man. Like, chill the fuck. And the person's like, fuck you. And I'm just like, dude, fucking stop it. You stop it right now. You know? But yeah. No, it's just funny. Dreams are weird, man. Dreams are weird. All right, what's the date? I've been keeping track of how much I sleep every night. So yesterday, I think I slept in yesterday. Say 2 a.m. to say 10:30. I don't even know. Last night was like 1:30, 9:22. Yeah. One thing I love about these dreams is it's very vivid. Okay. Grappling is to way to go in a street fight, gets the best result with the least cause of injury. Yeah, I mean the thing is, reality is I would never dream of grappling in a street fight, to be honest, because um, majority of the time, assuming the guy, if the guy doesn't have buddies around, that's a different story. Like if it's just one on one, yeah, everything's gonna result into a wrestling match. He who can dictate where the fight takes place, has a higher advantage of the fight. That was always my thing. Is there's two mindsets. One is just figure out where the guy's weak, take him there. Another is figure out where the guy's strong and confident and break his confidence by outpointing him in that area. So both are winnable strategies, but usually the obvious one is just figure out where they're weak and go there. You know what I mean? Just very simple. But yeah, my whole thing with grappling and street fights is I've seen too many videos where the dude will be on top and then someone comes up behind and bah, 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 starts hitting you back in the head. So that's usually what you got to watch out for, even if you think you're some like grappler. And I saw a video. I used to watch a ton of street fight videos, and they definitely traumatized me. But I saw one where this guy was wrestling a dude in like it was like a parking garage, and he clearly had slick jujitsu. He was much smaller than the other guy, and they go to the ground, and then he locks in an armbar and just breaks the dude's arm. But the dude whose arm got broken just pulls out this giant ass knife and then just starts fucking like basically gutting the dude. And the guy's like, ah, and the video kind of ends because the guy filming is like, oh shit, but it was just one of those moments like you're like, oh, why did I watch that? First of all. Second of all, you're like, this is why I curate my algorithm these days, because I used to watch a lot of fucked up shit online. But as a martial arts teacher, I always felt obligated for some stupid reason. But it was that I'm not getting in street fights, so it's like I don't want to be telling people, oh yeah, go to the ground and do an armbar. It's like, bro, the guy might have a knife, and that's a lot of times like anyways, we're going on a dark path here, so maybe I'll just keep my mouth shut, be here. Yeah. Yeah, it's just, you're better. My whole thing with street fights is, first of all, if you find yourself in a fisticuffs battle, you've already lost. If you find yourself having to do that, should be your last resort. And then also, the moment you're able to get the fuck out of there and run, that's your best bet. Just get the fuck your ego, get the fuck out, because the consequences are just too dire. And it's like a lot of times it's the ego. It's like most of the time with street fights, even if people think they're having like a little even bop 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 bop, it's the dude falling and hitting the back of his head. That's where the damage happens. The knockout, you know what I mean? It's like, first of all, it's much harder to knock someone out than people realize. And two, it's like, people, recover, but it's when they lose consciousness and then it smack the back of their head right there. That's why, again, Cyril Gone, that whole thing. I don't need to tell you this, you know all this. But yeah, that's why my whole thing with Street Fighter is just like, it's the art is, when I was used to work security, never had any physical altercations. I had people want to fight me. I had people with their like finger in my face like that. I had people where like they wanted to escalate it, and like it was close. It was very close, but I was able to kind of keep my composure. And again, kill them with kindness and the art of de-escalation. I always think it takes two to tango, and I ain't your dance partner. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't got time for this. I always think about it like this, like, dude, I've been like working on these for years. You know what I mean? Like, as a martial artist, you're an artist, and it's like this other dude doesn't deserve my fists. You know what I mean? You gotta kind of hold yourself. I don't know. Again, I'm talking about ego, not having ego, but you just have to hold yourself to a certain standard. And just realize that a lot of people just want to let off steam. You know what I mean? And you gotta, what I mean? And it's not even sounding like you're tough. Like, I've been in situations where I remember I was in one situation where a dude just wanted to fight someone, and like he was just kind of going down the line. I was at this really fucked up place where it was like all these people just like in one house trimming weed and stuff. And this one guy was just a fucking loose cannon, and like he was shorter than me, but that doesn't mean shit. You know what I mean? Like, because he was definitely a wild card. This guy liked to scrap, and you know what I mean. Anyone's got a puncher's chance, especially within the first 90 seconds. But anyways, we're all like sitting down on the couch, and I remember him just kind of basically going down the line, basically like sniffing for an altercation. Like, he was kind of just like basically getting in people's faces, just trying to look for some type of reaction. And I remember him doing it to me, and I was just like, all right, buddy, like, like, good for you, kind of. I don't know. I just was not biting, and it was like a little fisherman going down the line, and then he gets to a guy who was like pretty close to me, but like on the couch, because I could feel this guy just wanted to fight someone, and then he like was talking shit, and then the guy like basically said something back, and then he just goes da 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 da, and just starts like hooking the guy in the head while he's on the couch. So it's like the guy didn't even have a chance to basically fight back, because then everyone kind of intervenes and stuff. So it's like the dude didn't even want to fight; he just wanted to let off some steam. And I was just like, "See, I knew it. I knew that guy was trouble." I'm like, "Yeah, told you so." Um, but yeah, no, people are weird, man. But yeah. Yeah, I remember the closest I ever came to a fight was, again, it was always at these places where I was trimming weed, because you just get weird ass people there. And it was like, I think it might have even been the guy's house, or he lived there or something like that. But he was like, I think he was from Ukraine or Russia, some part of Eastern Europe, and he was there with his girlfriend. And I think he might have slapped his girlfriend or something like that, and he got like super pissed off. And for me, that was like a fucking. I'd never really been in that scenario before, but it was like a really like line for me. And everyone was like, because this guy was, I think he was like a jujitsu champion or something. So people were kind of like intimidated by him. But then I was like, I need to fuck this guy up. And then I remember like he kind of immediately got like pulled out of the room and stuff, because everyone intervened. Oh, what the fuck, dude? Like, they pulled him out. And then I just remember I was there. I was with Pete. I was with a few other people. Everyone there was like martial artists. Like everyone there were had a history of fighting. But at a high, not street fighting kind of thing. But this guy was just a fucking psychopath. And then I remember I was just sitting there, and everyone was kind of quiet, and I'm just crying. And I was just like, bro, I can't, like, I like, not like not like that, but my eyes were all watery, and everyone's just like, what the fuck is going on with this guy? And I was like, I can't be in these situations, man. I can't be in these situations, because like, I'm having to be really controlled about my reactions right now. and shit's about to pop off. But it was like if I even got into sight with, I was just like I don't know if I can be in the same room with this guy anymore. And we're now just in a house together, and I want to fucking claws this guy's face off. And I'm having to just like center myself, but it was really tough. And I just remember sitting there, and my eyes were just like, I kind of had tears in my face, and I was just like, I don't like this, guys. I don't like this. And they're just like, what the shit is going on with him? But allegedly trimming a certain plant. Yeah, Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, it was GTA, guys. Isn't that what they say nowadays? GTA. But yeah. I remember that was the closest where I was going to start something. But that's more me in my adult age. When I was younger, I was much more scrappy. But once I turned 18, I realized like, oh shit, there's some severe consequences for this. You know, I used to just look for trouble. Yeah. Anyways, in no way trying to sound tough or anything. These are just stories. No, I mean, here's the thing. It's like I knew the guy was like probably could kick my ass, you know what I mean? But like I was gonna take something with me. You know what I mean? Like it was just it was a weird my mom had been abused when she was younger, so it was like I just couldn't be around that. I remember one time I was driving and the guy like I just have certain things where it's like I'm gonna be on your ass if it's just like you could. I'm not saying you can do this stuff, but it's like if someone's gonna do it, you just can't be around me because now I'm gonna kind of insert myself into the scenario, and I don't want to, but it's just gonna happen. Like I was driving one time, and this guy, I see him, and he like smacks his girlfriend in the front seat, and I see it because we're like I'm driving next to the guy, and I was like, what the fuck? And then so I just pull up behind him, and I just followed this guy, and I followed him all the way to a parking lot. And I remember even like because I was like driving next to him at one point, his girlfriend was like, no, no, like looking at me like, no, we're good, we're good. And I was like, nah, bitch, like he shouldn't have done that. And again, I'm inserting myself into these people's life. They were in their car. I was kind of turning into the psychopath here, but I basically just followed them, and he was trying to drive away from me and stuff, and I was just on his ass. And then they pulled into a parking lot, and then I remember calling my martial arts teacher because I was like, I'm about to get into a situation. I just wanted to let you know, like I might not be able to make it to work later. And then he was just like, don't do anything. He was like, call the cops, like and then yeah, yeah, it was just I think he might have even been nearby. I don't really remember what happened from there, but yeah, it was I had to like check my emotions because again, I was basically like inserting myself into these people's lives. And I just remember the lady was just like, please don't to me because it probably would have made her life worse, you know. Because again, that's usually what happens in those scenarios. She's there, they got their thing going on, and if I join in, it's not like I'm gonna be Mr. Hero Man. She's gonna stick with the guy most likely. Uh, no, he was definitely he was like trying to be all tough, but he was kind of like I think he realized like he kept trying to lose me. Like he would do the thing where it's like he'd pull up to a red light and then drive through the red light, but I just kept following him right on his ass. But yeah, I just remember being really mad, and I had to like I think like while I was following him, I was calling my coach and was just like, hey, just wanted to let you know, I think I'm about to get into an altercation right now. But he was just like, no, don't. You don't know. But yeah. Can't stand any kind of bullying, especially yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can't stand bullies. I definitely can't stand anyone. Yeah, especially people have their stuff, but especially it's like you can't be hitting. I grew up with that. Not trying to be all Mr. Chivalrous, but can't be hitting ladies. So I think a lot of people grew up that way. But it's that we all have mothers. And some people got fucked up relationships with their mothers. I had a great relationship with my mom, so I appreciate and respect, not trying to, go the white knight kind of thing, but it's just true. So I just think different men carry themselves differently. Some people, it's the whole Freudian thing. Everyone's got their old traumas and issues that they just project onto the world. Ugh. Have you heard of NF? I don't know what that is. Song about a fan who wrote him a letter about spouse abusing her, and he was saying that he was scared if he did anything, the husband would hit her harder. Yeah, well, see, that's the fucked up reality. Is that, yeah, you know what I mean. You gotta. It's yeah. Anyways, not going into that, but yeah, there's a lot of fucked up shit going on behind closed doors, you know. I like to think of the world as beautiful, but there's a lot of evil and darkness. That's why when people always talk about heaven and hell, I always think it's like heaven and hell is right here on earth. Heaven and hell exists within someone's own state of being. And then also your environment. You can find, depending on where you're living in the world, you can find yourself in a state of hell. And you can hopefully find some peace within yourself in those horrific situations. But I'm not really one about believing in like you know something up, something down, or whatever. I think it all just occurs right where we're at. NF is a musician and a vocalist. Yeah, man, my bad. I'm trying to bring this to it. No, I was the one who started it. I definitely took it to, and this is all just reality. You know what I mean? Yeah, I definitely. That's why my mom was so tough. She had to deal with her dad, who is apparently quite the monster. So that always sucked, having to grow up realizing that was my fucking maternal grandfather. You're just like, that's cool, right? Got a fucking psychopath in my bloodline, you know. So that's why the best we can do is try and make this world better while we're here. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why I pursued martial arts. Was I had a really bad temper when I was younger, and I just realized like I have to learn how to control this thing because it's just what I have to do. That's my path. And don't get me, I remember I think I was like 28 when I finally felt my temper just kind of just like, it was like a bubble that finally popped. It was just like you're like, whoa, what the hell was that? I felt this ease. And don't get me wrong, I still have a temper. But nowadays what I think about it is that like I have like, I built a compound where it's like I have a series of walls of fortification where in order to get to me to unlock that temper, you have to then traverse a series of walls. Don't get me wrong, there's some quick underground paths to it where you can get right to the heart. But I try and keep those kind of near and dear too. So I try not to expose the squishy soft spots, so to speak. But yeah, man, you can't control what other people do. You can't control how you react to it. You know what I mean? I believe I have a hard time thinking about all of this. It's just coincidence that absolutely understands thinking the opposite. But yeah. No, I don't know. Ooh. But yeah, I spent many, many years just punching bags and stuff like that because I found it as a good way to just kind of drain the lake of fury. You know what I mean? That's why when we talk about Pokemon, like my move if I played Pokemon would be frustration. I had a lot of frustration growing up. I don't like this. Screen really is hard to read. Yeah. So I have normally I don't have the front facing camera, so I have it on a stand. So it's like I'll show you. It's on that. My high tech setup right now. So it's covering most of the verbiage. Normally I have my other phone out too. But let me just get some more writing down here. Roberto, no! Hiya gets it. What's up, Isabel? How you doing? Appreciate you, Isabel. You're awesome. Thank you. I love flow state. That's what I'm after right now. I already wrote 400 words in the past since last time I stopped talking. Um, all right. Towards I type fast, not as fast as you. Appreciate you. I love typing. See, that's the thing. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. One of my favorite things is don't even look at your hands. You know, you can close your eyes. And what's nice about this is you can enter a different space. Like and what I love about this too, it's like, I try to spell creativity. I wrote creative I white creativity. So you're gonna make mistakes, you know. But that's the beauty of the editing process. This is just the freeform thinking. But I find this to be one of the greatest meditations because externalizing your thoughts. I'm able to lock into the words in my head, and I'm able to just put them right on paper. If I try and write it down, I have to go much slower. I almost get into typing with my eyes closed too. Yeah, it's a great. There goes Roberto. Climate change again. At least you can still write your memoirs if you ever lose your vision. That's actually really cool. Yeah, no, it's definitely good. It's what I've always done too, even like handwriting. I've always worked on this where I was really good about taking notes. So writing with my eyes looking at the person, so they don't think I'm like, doing that. And I would just write like that. They'd be like, "Are you writing?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I could just sit there and write like this. And again, it's messy as hell, but that's not the point. The point is capturing those thoughts that would otherwise just disappear. I don't know about you, but if I don't write it down, it's gone. So, yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of technology too. If you got a voice, you can do that. You're awesome, Isabel. I appreciate you, brother. I call everyone brother. I really have no idea what gender people are, but y'all are my brothers. Even the ladies, they're my lady brothers. All right, we just hit 1291 words. Shout out to all the homies. I love the homies. That's why we keep going live. Again, what I might eventually start doing is just do this typing. Like if I do the morning writing stream, I think what I should probably do is get a good chunk of the writing done before I go live. But at the same time, you know, I've always talked about wanting to do these work streams. So the hope is that if I just continuously post these live writing streams, you know, it just inspires other people to, I don't know, whatever they want to do. But you know, it's better than like, guys, if you don't like and subscribe right now, my finger's gonna break from this rock. Please do it. Ah, you know what I mean? Like that shit just drives me fucking crazy. But that's a majority of live streams these days. And I got to go live so we can connect with Roberto because we all miss Roberto. As soon as I'm not live, I'm like, what is Roberto up to right now? Probably plotting the death of my jabroni dragon and the 3 birds. Don't forget the 3 birds. There's literally this one. It's not even one live streamer. It's a ton of people who do it. But you remember that old? I don't know if you guys remember, but it's like the plastic alligator where you press its teeth and then eventually you press the wrong button and then the teeth close. They do that, but they tape like thumbtacks to every tooth. So they sit there and be like, oh, if you got, oh my God, guys, oh, if I get this, I'm gonna breathe, oh God, oh, like it's got this right there, oh, and I'm just like, ugh. Appreciate you. Yeah, I have some other ones. That lady back there is the first time I ever bought a painting. Yeah, I probably bought paintings before that, but that was definitely one. I found that thing. It was like $10, but I just kept walking by. I remember at first I took a photo and I was like, I love that. Yeah, I had to leave with it. And then the Ali poster is classic, right? That's when he fought Sonny Liston. And then we have Led Zeppelin back there. You know. Just try recording your writing and post it after. That way you can still be the accountability of Beluza. Haya, that's a great idea, brother. That is a great idea. I like where your head's at. I like where your head's at. That's probably a good idea. Yeah, because honestly, yeah. Yeah, because I feel obligated to interact with the chat. That's why normally I don't have this camera up, but I have my other phone over here so I can read the chat. All right, we just hit 1,400 words. Don't apologize. You're awesome. Oh, Roberto. Roberto, no. It's a red t-shirt. Can you see my red t-shirt? Like these still, but it's got to be tough to focus. Yeah, well, again, it's that I don't want to ignore the chat, but yeah, definitely, you know, as you see, I kind of have to just sit here and do this. Broku, I like it. It's like Brawly and Goku. All right, we just hit 1884. Forearm pain could be from your consistent typing streams lately. Think wrist pad. Oh yeah, I definitely need this wrist pad. Without this, it definitely gets me. But no, I think it was I was doing pull-ups or I was doing chin-ups. I think that's what did it. Um, Bam, 2039. Whoa. Let's go. All right, guys. I'm gonna start getting ready. Got a lot planned here today. Gotta go see the homie. I will be back on a little later. I'm going to make some coffee, meet up with Pete, and then I'm going to go live once I meet up with Pete. So what I might do later is, again, because I might go live from my my PlayStation. I might go live from my phone. We'll do something, but I'm definitely going to go live just to connect with you guys. But I'll probably be on mute, but I'll be in the chat because I'll have my other phone so I can type from that. And again, it's my buddy's birthday, so I gotta go. I'm gonna go hang out with him, give him my full attention. You know what I mean? But this is the thing with live streamers. I realize is that you have to stay consistent, and nobody else understands the importance of the consistency. So I think a lot of live streamers, they end up missing birthday parties, missing that kind of stuff. But can't leave the homie hanging, So yeah, probably go. Yeah, I might even go after he falls asleep. Appreciate you, dude. I'll like I said, I'll be on later. Hope to see you there. Regardless, you guys have a great rest of your day. We got 5 people here. Appreciate you guys. If y'all are new here, don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't do it. Don't do it. Stay away. Whatever you do, do not subscribe. Okay? Do not subscribe. We'll do reverse psychology on these people. Like and subscribe. Yes, like and subscribe. All right, guys. I'll see you in a bit. Everyone have a good one. Peace. I'm out.